Hi, and welcome to Idea Sex Live with Elphie and Janelle.
Hello.
Say hi, Janelle. So we're just having dinner, and I thought we'd get on before it's 10 o'clock. It's almost 10 o'clock now. And have a little chat about the Enneagram. So, the Enneagram is essentially a psycho-spiritual framework for understanding the human condition. It's like a personality profiling system, but I don't like using that term in the first place because it kind of makes you feel like you have to box people in to certain things, and it's not the case. So it's more of we have each of the different styles within us, and we have maybe a primary style that we fit into, and we can enjoy the other styles as well. Would you say it's pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
So what do you like about the Enneagram?
All right. I'm sort of more layperson with this. So okay. But I've been exposed to it before, and I'm aware that I'm mainly a 2, and I'm a wing of a 3 as well. But essentially, what we were talking about just before was that it's a rather holistic way of looking at sort of styles, and it's not so much about fragmenting people or basically honing in and lopping off, and it's a much more holistic system which is quite integrated, and there's ways of going in direction of growth, and it's just a rather expansive view as opposed to essentially fragmenting people and boxing people in and actually limiting them and confining them. So, yeah,
it's great. Yes, that's definitely my favourite part of it compared to other personality systems, is that if you look at it, the way I like to look at it is like you're in a house and your bedroom is the main type, and then you've got all these other types as well, the styles that you have different strengths in, because we all have the foundational fears and virtues that they talk about. And the idea of the Enneagram as well is to actually go and experience each of the different styles as you develop yourself. So essentially you go and raise yourself through different levels of development, and then once we've visited each of the different styles, we can then let go of personality altogether and basically embody source. So I'm just going to bring up a little list here. So there's 9 styles in the Enneagram, and I'll just cover each of the different styles and just the basic traits of each of them. So I've got some cool notes here. So style 1 is the reformer, which is principled, self-controlled, purposeful, and perfectionistic. Style 2, which is your main style, is caring, demonstrative, people-pleasing, and possessive. Style 3, which you're also strong in, and I'm very strong in as well, is the achiever, adaptable, excelling, driven, and image conscious. And then style 4, the individualist, or the special one, sensitive, introspective, expressive, and self-absorbed. Style 5 is the investigator, which is cerebral, perceptive, innovative, and isolated. And then style 6 is the loyalist, which is committed, responsible, anxious, and suspicious. Style 7, the enthusiast, which is my primary style, is variety-seeking, versatile, acquisitive, and scattered. And style 8, the challenger, which is also partly my style, is dominating, decisive, self-confident, and willful. And then finally, style 9, the peacemaker, is easygoing, self-effacing, agreeable, and complacent. And so we, like I said before, we all have different amounts in us of each of these different styles. There's also a thing called wings, which is where you embody a lot of the traits of a number either side of yours. So in my case, I could have either the loyalist or the challenger, and I happen to have the challenger in me, which means I'm someone who loves lots of variety, but at the same time getting what I want, apparently. The cool thing about the levels of development, which is something that's done by Riso Hudson, and the Enneagram Institute, if you want to look it up, is they have essentially 9 levels that you can move up and down in your development. So there's the healthy levels, which are liberation, psychological capacity, and social value. Then the average levels, which is when you go into imbalance, interpersonal control, and then overcompensation. And then when you go past that point, you go into the unhealthy levels, which is where your red flag goes off, and then you become into violation, delusion, and then pathological destructiveness. So it's really cool in that it doesn't just one of those things where, you know, just tells you that all these awesome things about you and it's like, oh yeah, I'm that. It actually does cover who we are when we're healthy and when we're not unhealthy. Welcome to Amanda and Rod. Hello Rod, how you doing, mate? So anything you want to say about this stuff as well? Hey Xander.
Okay, so I just think with my personal experience, it was actually pretty confronting. To be honest, sort of getting to know my type, because actually it's a pretty strong mirror, and you know, sort of the pitfalls that you land in, and sort of the default characteristics that you have when you're not feeling very powerful or empowered rather, or alert or self-aware. And so yeah, it was actually quite confronting for me personally when I first realised my main type, but also I must say as well is that in actual fact it's been really quite, it's actually been really beneficial as well, because it's made me actually aware of the fact that, like, because I'm mainly a 2, exercising humility, it's actually really, really important for me to be doing. And actually I feel more in my centre when I know that's an organic expression of who I am. And when I start to be sort of more all about me and you know, self-focused, but not in a way that's actually beneficial, but rather it's more absorbed. That's like a signal for me, which I'm aware of. So it can be confronting, but at the same time, really, really beneficial if you're somebody who actually does wish to genuinely connect and expand and grow. And yeah, it can be really. Mirrors aren't easy, essentially, but they can be really helpful. And again, especially with the gaze that they're not limiting you. They're just pointers.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that's cool about it as well is it doesn't make your ways of being wrong. It's like, okay, this is just the way that we are inclined to go towards.
That's a good point.
But we can embrace that, and it's enough to actually just witness ourselves in action. And once we're able to at least witness the automatic patterns and the ways of operating in the world, only then can we actually have true choice over how we respond rather than react to situations. Thank you. And yeah, essentially, one of the cool things it does as well, it covers your like a whole bunch of things around the why of who we are rather than just the what or the how. So I've studied a lot of personality profiling systems. This is my favorite because it covers the why, and it even covers what your basic desires and fears are, and your key motivation in life. So and there's also ways in which we can actually notice like red flags, for example. So my red flag is that my continual activities are bringing me like pain and unhappiness. So as a 7, I will continue to try and find new things to do or experiences to have, to just keep things changing and keep them moving. But then once I realize that all the stuff I'm doing is not actually bringing me happiness, that's where I start really going down the path of destructiveness, self-destructiveness. And even like once we're in levels of health, it's good to get wake-up calls, for example, the feeling that something else is better available elsewhere is a sign for me to be able to stay healthy rather than go down in that. So the other couple of points is that there are things called subtypes or instincts. So you can have a social, a sexual, or what's the other one? I think it's a self-preservation. Right. So yeah, and so basically, they're independent of the Enneagram type. And that's really, I just wanted to give you guys an overview of what it's all about. And, if you have any questions, just ask them in the comments below. And just check it out. It's really